Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवत गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam for all session. Let us recite Bhagavad Gita Shloka. Today is Monday. No, it's not Monday. What is it today? Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday, Mataji.
I didn't do class yesterday, so I thought it's Monday. Sorry. So let's continue reciting our shloka. We've been reciting 15:7. Yeah, so we'll just go in order. Who'll go first? Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the supple devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhutha Sanatanaha, Manas Sastandri Sastanindriyani, Prakriti Stani Karsati. Translation. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Thank you.
Medha? Not there.
She'll be in 2 minutes, Mataji.
Okay. So next, Suvarnangi Mataji, Narsimalila Chaitanya Prabhu and kids.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanas Pranam Sarvashri Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mamaivaamsho Jeevaloke Jeevabhuta Sanatanaha Manashastha Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati. Translation. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next, Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Sarvashri Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mamaivaamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana
Shashtanindriyani.
manashasthanindriyani prakritisthani karsati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shri Radhe Shravani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Mamaivaamso jivaloke jivabhutaha sanatanaha manah shashtanindriyani prakrutistani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with six senses, which include the mind.
Thank you. Medha. Medha.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mamevamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manasastani indriyani prakriti stani karsati. Translation. The living entities in this conditional world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditional life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Hare Krishna. Okay. I'll also recite Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 7. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manah shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2. The demigods offer prayers to the Lord in the womb. So the most recent discussion was that Devaki is now pregnant with Krishna. How she's pregnant with Krishna? Krishna first appeared in the mind. He entered into the mind of Vasudeva. And then from Vasudev's mind, Krishna entered into the mind of Devaki, or the heart of Devaki. From Vasudev's heart, he entered into the heart of Devaki. Mind and heart can be taken interchangeably. Or from Vasudev's mind, he entered into the mind of Devaki. So there we also discussed some important terms that were used. Manastaha, that means he entered in the mind, the Lord entered in the mind of Vasudeva and stayed there, and then again from there. So this is the point. It tells us that Krishna didn't appear like an ordinary child through the father's semen into the mother's womb. That's not the way. Also, it tells us that both Vasudeva and Devaki's bodies are completely transcendental. Then from Krishna's heart, I mean from Vasudev's heart, Krishna entered into Devaki's heart, and actually he was there in Devaki's heart, and from there he actually goes to the womb of Devaki. So Devaki, the mother, is actually, she was seeing Krishna in her womb. But when Krishna entered into Devaki's heart, first we saw about Vasudeva also. He was so effulgent, right? When Krishna entered into the heart of Vasudeva, he was so effulgent that it was difficult for, what to speak of, enemies like Kamsa. No living entity could approach him because of that super effulgence. Where is that effulgence coming from? That is Krishna's effulgence. So because Vasudeva was holding Krishna in his heart, Vasudeva also became so effulgent, so nobody could even approach him. And then Krishna from the heart of Vasudeva entered into the heart of Devaki. And about Devaki it is said, only a few people who were around her, they could see this natural, beauty. She was so joyful. When Krishna entered her heart, she was so joyful. She was so, so Kamsa, normally when he would come from time to time to see Devaki, after whenever she got pregnant, he would come and see, and she would just smile at him, not because she was happy, but because she was fearful, right? He may not think that that just to make him, so that he won't make any other plans, right? To show him that we are happy, she would smile at him, right? Uh, but this time, when Devaki was pregnant, I think this is the next verse that's coming. Anyway, what already happened was that she was so effulgent, but it was not visible to everyone. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained like a pot, which is, if there's fire inside the pot, if you look inside the pot, it will be bright because the fire is there. But from outside, you look at the pot, you don't see any fire. So like that, Devaki was inside the house, right? She was in house arrest inside the prison of Kamsa. So within the prison, of course, she was very, effulgent. But the people in general, they couldn't see that, right? They couldn't see that. Also, the other example we discussed was, well, this only explained in a different way. If there is a fire inside the house in a room, then that illumination or that heat, that warmth is felt only inside the room, not outside the house in the neighborhood. They don't see it. Like that, Devaki's effulgence was not observed uh, by people outside of Kamsa's palace or outside of even the prison house. They couldn't see. Only a few people could see that around her, the people immediately around her. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, when the fire increases and when the whole house is set ablaze, right, it is burnt up, then that fire becomes so big. First, it will burn up the whole house, and then the entire neighborhood will be able to see that fire. The neighborhood will be able to receive that heat, that warmth, and that effulgence. Similarly, Devaki, who is now oppressed, she's contained inside that prison house by Kamsa. So she is like that fire. She is that fire, okay, uh, who is now suppressed. She's locked up inside that house, the prison. But soon this fire will increase. What is that increase of fire? Krishna's giving birth to Krishna. Then it will become such a big fire that it will burn up the whole house. That means Kamsa and his whole palace and everything will be destroyed. And then Krishna will be visible to everyone else. But right now, is, like Devaki is now, her effulgence and her glory, her joy is not visible to everyone. And one more analogy was given by Srila Sukadeva Goswami about the learning of a learned man. So if it is not actually taught to others, then such learning is of no use. In spite of having that learning, it's of no use. And in fact, soon that learning, which is actually meant for everyone else's benefit, will destroy that person eventually, if you're not actually using it for others' benefit. So these are the two examples given. Now let's continue reading. And also we saw the word Achyutamsha. Achyuta Amsha. Who is Achyuta Amsha? Krishna. Why? Because Achyuta means one who is not fallible, and One who is infallible is Achyuta. That means those who never fall. That means those who are never conditioned by material nature. They are the amshas coming from Krishna, from the Lord. So the Lord from whom Achyuta amshas are coming, or the Lord whose amshas are all Achyuta. Who is that? Krishna. So like this we saw. Now the next verse, maybe I can also just one more time take a look at 18. So also one more thing we discussed here was text 17. While carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, Vasudeva bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, and thus he became as bright as the sun. He was therefore very difficult to see or approach through sensory perception. Indeed, he was unapproachable and unperceivable even for such formidable men as Kamsa, and not only for Kamsa but all living entities. So in that context, it is also said that Vasudeva was holding the Supreme Lord not by his yoga process, right? He was able to hold the Supreme Lord because the Lord entered his heart, right? And also, I think that's the next one. Like the moon rises in the east, right? Like the moon rising in the east. Krishna appeared in the heart of Vasudeva. One more point. Like uh, Vasudev's transferring Krishna from or Krishna's entering Devaki from Vasudev's heart is like the Guru's initiating the disciple. In fact, that was the main discussion in the last class, right? Initiation of the disciple by the Guru. Okay. So Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising sun. Oh, so we did 19 also then? That's what I've been explaining. Did we read 19? Anyway, let's just all this time I was explaining 19. Sadevaki sarva jagan nivasa bhutani taram nareje bhojendra gehe gnishikhe varuddha saraswati jnana khale yatha sati. Sadevaki sarva jagan nivasa bhutani taram nareje भोजेन्द्र गेहे ग्निशिखे वरुद्धा सरस्वती ज्ञान खले यथा सती. I was explaining these last two lines. Anyway, it's okay. So now we can read the purport with this understanding. So translation, I think we have to start with Achitpriya Mataji, right? Yes, Mataji, Achitpriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Dhanavad Pranam Mataji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Devaki benefit within herself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos, but because she was under arrest in the house of Kamsa, she was like the flames of a fire covered by the walls of a pot, or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, Sa Devaki Sarva Jagan Nivasa. So, this Devaki, that Devaki, Sa Devaki, Sarva Jagat, the entire universe, Nivasa. Who is that? Who is the shelter for the entire universe? Krishna, right? The Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, that Devaki, Sarva Jagan Nivasa, the one who is the shelter for the entire universe, that Devaki became Nivasa. So that means she became the residence, of the Lord who is the shelter for the entire universe. In fact, everything for the material and spiritual worlds, everything is coming from him. That Lord's residence is now Devaki. Sa Devaki Sarva Jagan Nivasa Nivasa. Sarva Jagan Nivasa Nivasa. She is the shelter, or she is the residence of the shelter of the whole universe. Nivasa Bhuta, all living entities. Okay, so he is the center, he is the shelter of the living entities of the entire universe, and she is the residence of that Lord. Nitaram Nareje. Yet, although he is there, he residence means he's staying. So he's staying in Devaki, but still he's not shining there. Huh? He's not shining there. Why? So he is the Supreme Lord who is the residence of the entire of all living entities of the entire universe. When the Lord is present, right, there should be so much effulgence, so much illumination. One sun, when it rises, there's so much light. When the Supreme Lord Krishna comes, how much light there should be. But still, he's not shining. Then these two examples are given. Bhojendra Gehegni Shikheva Ruddha. Bhoja Indra, the king of the Bhojas. Who is that? Kamsa. Geha. Geha means his house. So Bhojendra Gehe, in the house of Kamsa, Agni Shikheva Ruddha. The way fire is kept inside, or the way fire is covered, right, in a room or in a pot, like that. She was there in the house of Kamsa. She was in the house of Kamsa, the way fire is kept inside a pot or inside a room. That means outside of that room, nobody is seeing the fire. Like that, outside of Kamsa's house, nobody is able to see the effulgence. That's why the Lord is not shining fully. That means he's not illuminating all directions. Okay, no, it's not. What physical place can actually block Krishna's, what can block Krishna? Can the four walls block the effulgence of Krishna? But the idea is, that is an analogy. The way fire is covered by, within the four walls, like that, Devaki's effulgence is covered. Devaki's effulgence is covered. Devaki's effulgence, due to carrying Krishna in her, is covered by, why? It's covered by what? It is covered by Kamsa's oppression. It is covered. She was in fear of Kamsa now. She was arrested and she was in fear of Kamsa. So her effulgence is covered, not suppressed, it's covered. Not everyone is able to see. That's the thing. Okay. Then one more analogy is Saraswati Jnana Khale Yatha Sati. Right. So Saraswati Jnana. Now the knowledge, right, of any type of knowledge, actually. Saraswati is translated as knowledge. Jnana Khale. What is Jnana Khala? One who has that knowledge, but he is not able to use it for others' benefit. One who has the knowledge, but is not able to distribute it or use it for others' benefit. In the same way, Devaki has this, she is holding the Supreme Lord, but nobody knows about it. They're not able to see it. Okay. So that Devaki is now the residence of the Lord, who is the shelter of the living entities of the entire universe. Yet he is not shining there because she is in the house of Kamsa. The way fire is kept inside a room or in a pot, or the way the knowledge of a person is hidden in him and it's not distributed to everyone. Okay, makes sense. Devaki then kept within herself the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos. But because she was under arrest in the house of Kamsa, she was like the flames of a fire covered by the walls of a pot, or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society. So Aditi Lata Mataji and Arunita, you can read together one paragraph each.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
In this verse, the word Jnana Kala is most significant. Knowledge is meant for distribution. Although there is already much scientific knowledge, whenever scientists or philosophers awaken to a particular type of knowledge, they try to distribute it throughout the world, for otherwise the knowledge gradually dries up and no one benefits from it. India has the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but unfortunately, for some reason or other, this sublime knowledge of the science of God was not distributed throughout the world, although it is meant for all human society. Therefore, Krishna himself appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and ordered all Indians to take up the cause of distributing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita throughout the entire world. Jare dekho tare koho Krishna upodesh, amar agyay guru hoya Tara ei Desh.
Yeah.
Is this for Arunita or me?
Yeah, Arunita.
Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 7.128. Although India has the sublime knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Indians have not done their proper duty of distributing it. Now, therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement has been set up to distribute this knowledge as it is, without distortion. Although previously there were attempts to distribute the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, those attempts involved distortion and compromise with mundane knowledge. But now the Krishna consciousness movement, without mundane compromises, is distributing Bhagavad Gita as it is. And people are deriving the benefits of awakening to Krishna consciousness. And the whole world.
And becoming devotees of Lord Krishna.
And becoming devotees of Lord Krishna. Therefore, the proper distribution of society,
of knowledge,
has begun, by which not only will the whole world benefit, but India's glory will be magnified in human society. Kamsa tried to arrest Krishna consciousness within his house, Bhojendra Gehe, with the result that Kamsa, with all his opulences, was later vanquished. Similarly, the real knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was being choked by unscrupulous Indian leaders, with the result that India's culture and knowledge of the Supreme was being lost. Now, however, because Krishna consciousness is spreading, the proper use of Bhagavad Gita is being accepted. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So let's read the purport. In this verse, the word Jnana Kala. Jnana Kala means somebody who has the knowledge but who does not distribute, right? That is, Srila Prabhupada focuses on that in the purport. In this verse, the word Jnana Kala is most significant. Knowledge is meant for distribution. Although there is already much scientific knowledge, whenever scientists or philosophers awaken to a particular type of knowledge, they try to distribute it throughout the world, for otherwise the knowledge gradually dries up and no one benefits from it. So this is what is happening in the world, right? There is a lot of research going on. There are many scientists. They are coming up with new inventions, new discoveries. And whenever they do that, they make sure that it is propagated, isn't it? Immediately it is made known to everyone. It is recorded and it is spread around and it is taught in schools, colleges, everywhere, in newspapers. You make sure that this knowledge is distributed to everyone. Why it is done like that? If it is not distributed like this, that knowledge will dry up gradually and nobody will benefit from it. That's the point. That's the point. Jnana Kala means after you get the knowledge, if you don't distribute it to someone, also when we learn something, the best way to register that knowledge within ourselves is to actually share it with others. That's the best way. When you hear a lecture and you find whatever you have retained from that is why attentive hearing is first very important, right? You hear it properly first, for you to actually grasp the points. The more attentive you are, the more you'll be able to grasp. Sometimes, you know, uh, we can just sit attentively and take the points, but many times it helps if we can actually jot down some points, right? Then later on, because Kali Yuga minds, right, manda buddhi, so at that time it appears like, yes, I understood, it makes sense, and then we go away and we do other things, and then after some time it kind of fades away, it's gone. If somebody asked you to explain it later on, you're not able to explain it because manda buddhi, what to do. But if you write it down nicely, and then you uh, you have to uh, what do you say, recollect it, you have to think about it later on. It will actually happen, it will happen. If you hear attentively, then you will contemplate it later on during the day or the next day. It will come back and you'll think about it, you'll ponder. And the next stage is, now you will actually, you should be able to reproduce it. Whatever is there inside, first you heard it, right? And after you hear it, then you process it. You should be able to explain it in your own words. It's one thing to memorize and just, spit it out. That's one level. But more important than that is to actually digest the subject matter, contemplate it, think about it, sit on that, right? Like the mother bird sits on the egg, right? And what happens? The baby comes. So like that, when you get something, you have to contemplate on that, right? And then reproduce it. That's an important part. You have to, that's when the knowledge, I don't know if I told you, when you hear some subject matter, only 25% of the subject, this is Shastra, by the way. When you, this is how learning takes place. When you're attentively hearing, you grasp only 25% of the complete knowledge. When you go back and you recollect, or you can say you're even discussing amongst, like if there's a class and there's some students, after the teacher, then they discuss amongst themselves, right? Or you actually think about it. That's stage 2. By that you can actually grasp 50% of the subject. So it is essential for you to actually go back and think about it, recollect it. Then you have to actually tell it, tell that to somebody else, in the same box where you have the glasses. So then the next thing is, you have to teach someone whatever you have heard, whatever you have digested. Now you have to reproduce it. That's like the exam, right? You should be able to reproduce, so that will show how much you have actually digested. We don't have so much time here and so much, so we don't do that so often, but actually that's the best way of making sure that, well, that is possible when I'm actually able to see that everyone is actually sitting there and you're actually, in a classroom situation. Yeah, certainly that will happen naturally, automatically. Earlier, when it was only children coming and the cameras were essential, right? Everyone had to keep their cameras turned on. I could see, you know, the reactions. And then I would actually ask, I would call them by name and say, so what did we do yesterday? Can you explain this? That's actually a very good way. That way, your learning is going forward. Now, what is happening is, you're hearing, so 25% goes, and that is if you're actually attentively hearing. If you're doing other things and you're hearing, means even that 25% is not going. But at least some sound vibration is going. Some benefit certainly will be there. It's not like zero, certainly. But if you want to get the complete benefit, you should have certain time when you're focused and you're just sitting and hearing. And after hearing, you are actually contemplating on that. And then you have to reproduce it. So reproduce it, the best way is to teach someone else. Whatever you have a buddy, like a uh, what do you call them, students, you study together, study a partner, right? You study together. So what, you have to explain it to the other person so that the other person actually understands. Even that is not complete actually, but that's a big portion. 75% of your learning, of the subject you get by teaching others, Still, the remaining 25%, when you will come? When time passes. That you don't have control on. After some time. It takes some time. Everything, it's not mechanical that it will just happen by my endeavor. The last thing is some time has to pass. And in due course of time, that knowledge will nicely settle in your consciousness. You'll never forget it. It's there with you for good now. I would say something like, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati. I don't think most devotees will forget that verse. Or maybe Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamakah pandavas. That's the first verse. When someone learns Bhagavad Gita like that, over a period of time, it just becomes, even if you wake up in the sleep and ask, they'll just say like that. But this is the process of learning. So teaching others is an important aspect of that knowledge, staying in you. That's very important. That's the point. But if you don't teach others, and if you don't contemplate on it, and of course here mainly it is said, when you teach others what is happening, they are also benefiting from that knowledge. And then for them also now the same condition applies. When they learn from you, they have to teach it others. And by this teaching it to others, actually the benefit of that knowledge is derived by uh, the maximum number of people in the entire world. So preaching is essential. Teaching is essential, right? Studying and then teaching also is essential so that the knowledge spreads. So the main point that Srila Prabhupada is making here is, if it is not taught throughout the world, then that knowledge will dry up. You won't be able to retain it yourself. Okay, you may say, I won't teach others, but I have it. No, it won't stay. Remember yesterday Prabhuji gave that example of a pot. You're holding that water for it long time, it will get cracks and all that water will fall out. So even you yourself won't be able to retain it. What to speak of helping others? Okay. So now Srila Prabhupada is coming to the point. What is real knowledge then? All these scientific inventions and technological advancements, discoveries, is that the real knowledge that needs to be spread around? That's being spread around, propagated quite extensively, right? So drastically, there's a change in society just in a matter of couple of decades. Such drastic spread of change in society. Why? How did this happen? Because of spreading the knowledge, distributing the knowledge. Now we have faster ways of communication, right? We have televisions, we have internet, we have smartphones, we have WhatsApp. Immediately knowledge spreads everywhere, whatever knowledge we have. Imagine if in this way, the real knowledge, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, of Krishna consciousness, if it is spread, that is also happening. Of course, no doubt. We cannot. What are we doing right now? We are using that technology. We are trying to use that technology to spread Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. So imagine if we didn't have all this, then would we be connecting like this now? No. But that doesn't mean that we would stop. we would do on some other scale immediately, with our children or with our neighbors. Maybe we would probably be doing. But while the world is making this advancement, we will use it to spread Krishna consciousness. For us, we take this as a special benediction by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the movement rapidly all over the world. But this is not a natural situation. It's not a lasting situation. It's not going to last. It's not going to last because this is artificial. This is not Krishna's system. This is not natural system. So while it is there, let us use it. The way materialism is spreading rapidly, we can take advantage of their own. Another example I just remembered. Srila Prabhupada, this is perfect example actually. Srila Prabhupada was once on a morning walk uh, with his disciples. Very famous, all of you must have seen it. And, Srila Prabhupada says, this nice park, right? It's built by these materialistic people, right? They built this nice park thinking that they will come and enjoy here. But after building this park, they don't have time to come and enjoy. They are busily working day and night, right? In the morning walk, Prabhupada went around 6 o'clock. They're all fast asleep. They couldn't enjoy the fresh breezes of the morning, the clean park. They couldn't enjoy because they're in the mode of passion and ignorance, working late night and sleeping until late morning, right? Or maybe until noon. They're just sleeping. So they cannot enjoy, although they worked for it, but they are not able to enjoy it. And the devotees, they don't waste their time in making material arrangements, making big, parks and buildings and so on and so forth. They are focusing on Krishna consciousness, right? Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, worshipping Krishna, but still they are taking advantage of the arrangements made. In the morning, Prabhupada is walking in the park with his disciples. So Prabhupada gives the example of Ajagar Vritti. Ajagar Vritti. So the mice, right, rats in the fields, they make holes, burrows inside the fields. Why? Very hard. They go and dig and dig and dig. They make nice holes and go and sit inside that hole. That is their home. The snake comes. The snake didn't make the hole. It'll enter the hole, eat the rat, and then it'll stay in that hole. So Prabhupada says we are like that snake. We don't work for the whole. Let the uh, let the karmis who are like asses means working very hard, right, without intelligence, let them work hard and build these nice parks and all that. We will come and we will use it. So the point is, yes, they worked very hard to make all these arrangements, but they're not going to be able to enjoy all these arrangements. I mean, every day, even now, so many inventions technologically are being made. It is actually mind blowing, not in a good sense, but this artificial intelligence and everything. We are. Hmm?
Any activities we are doing, if it's not pleasing to Krishna, it's all waste.
So any activity we do which is not pleasing to Krishna is all waste. But they are doing that work anyway, right? They're doing that work anyway. Use it, and if you can use it in Krishna, and you are in that situation, you're not able to go away. See, Prabhupada came in airplanes, Prabhupada used, but it doesn't mean that we need airplanes. We don't need anything. Prabhupada says he could stay in Vrindavan and chant, no problem. But while they're working so hard, making all these arrangements, they're making them anyway. Use their own technology to uplift them, to spread Krishna consciousness. Use their own technology to spread Krishna consciousness, but you don't become dependent on their technology for your Krishna consciousness. That is important. You're using it while it is there to spread Krishna consciousness. For my individual Krishna consciousness, I should not depend on this. That's where Varnashram system comes. Right? Varnashram system is a natural system. It's a simple system where there is no dependence on all these artificial gadgets, artificial lifestyle, Uh, mm, that's Krishna's system. That's the natural system. Like you see in Vrindavan, right? Krishna's village. There's cows, there is land. They make butter by churning with their hand, right? So this is the natural system. And for our own development of Krishna consciousness, we want to depend on this system for ourselves. So that is why um, yes, yes, yes. Even that is not 100%, but still something is there. So the butter, you also have this experience. You all make ghee at home, right? Melt ghee and make melt butter and make ghee. So when we make our own ghee, we make ghee wicks to show lamp to the deity, and that in which we make the battis. I mean, we make the ghee wicks so that container pot that is kept outside. So a mouse comes to eat that ghee. it, it happened in our house. And it just relishes and eats. So once we ran out of that ghee, homemade ghee, and we got this ghee, ready-made ghee from store. So and we used that for making. We shouldn't take names of companies, I think, but there was a ghee that we got from the store, and we put battis in that, the ghee wicks, and then that ghee was also remaining. The mouse didn't eat it, it didn't come. Otherwise, it would come every day, it would come looking for that ghee, which we made it with our hand, and it will stay there. I was observing for a long time, for a long time. It's not like quickly eating and going away. Remember, I told you once the story from Bhakti Sandarbha, like, this mouse during Kartik came and, ate um, that lamp. So somebody in Kartik had lit a lamp, or it went into the temple. They show there's ghee lamp burning inside the temple. So the altar was closed, the door was locked, and the pujari left. So the mouse came inside, and then it got attracted to ghee. I never knew before that mice actually ate ghee. I didn't know. The mouse came and it got so attracted to that ghee. There's fire in that ghee wick, and it took it in its mouth because of that greed for ghee. And then while it was trying to eat that, the mouth was catching on fire, so it's jumping up and down because of that fire, that heat. And that jumping up and down actually was accepted as the mouse is offering arti to the deity. And then eventually its mouth got burnt and the mouse died there.
No, the wick was about to, off. It was burning, but it was almost finishing. So when he was trying to eat and push, the lamp, the ghee wicks was a little pushed ahead and started burning, and Krishna became very pleased with his thing. So that
Okay,
Krishna considered that is devotional service, and he got liberated.
no, actually, this is said like this in Bhakti Sandarbha. He actually died. The mouse died. It got burnt. It caught fire and it got burnt, caught on fire, and it died. But you know what happened in the next life? Next life, this mouse took birth as a queen. Took birth. Why? Because it got so much, but this was actually Bhakti Abhasa. Bhakti, devotional service, even when you do without knowing, what to speak of without knowing, even when an animal does it, that is counted. In Kartik, it offered a lamp to Krishna. That's the credit that this mouse got. But of course, ultimately, whatever your desire, that will be fulfilled, right? So it must have had, that living entity must have had some desire for opulence. And besides, to actually render devotional service, you also need a, anyway, whatever, it took birth as a queen. And in the next life as a queen, this queen, she gave so much charity to devotees and all that. After that queen's life, she went back to Vaikuntha. All this because that mouse went to eat that ghee. Anyway, so that story we had discussed from Bhakti Sandarbha in some other context. But that's where when I first heard that mice also eat ghee, I didn't know that they ate ghee. I know that they bite, chew on clothes, and they eat grains, so on food items. But ghee I didn't know. But the first time I saw, the mouse comes every day and it won't take anything else. No, if there is ghee, it doesn't want anything else. It won't disturb anything else. It will go directly to the ghee pot and it will eat ghee. I was thinking, my God, so much intelligence, huh? Even that, after all, it's a living entity. But still, in an animal body, it knows the difference. This is ghee, and ghee, Chanakya Pandit says, right, the strongest food, like the food that gives you the highest amount of strength. This also I discussed once, right? You eat so much rice, 10 times that strength you get by eating atta, 10 times that strength you get by drinking milk, and 10 times that you get strength by eating ghee. Ghee is that gives the highest strength. And this mouse knows it. So it goes and eat. But store-bought ghee, ready-made ghee, I'll even give you the name. It's Amul ghee from Patel stores. We just put it because I ran out, and it's a procedure to make ghee. So I ran out of homemade ghee, so I just put it there. It didn't take. Every day, I would see the footprints of this mouse in the plate. Every day I have to clean it and wash it and everything. Start all over again. And this day, no, no prints, nothing. That means even they can see what is real and what is fake. So many examples. Even you take organic fruits you'd bring, so many ants will come and eat. And you just buy regular grapes. They are with they put so many pesticides. You keep them outside 2 days, 3 days, they don't come. But fruits that are where they didn't use any pesticides, immediately so many ants will come and they'll start eating. They can also tell what is real and what is not. So the point is, Krishna's lifestyle, the way Krishna has given, that is the best, and even animals and insects can understand. But we are so advanced, so educated, but we don't understand. We go for the other one, that which is fake, that which is artificial, which has no life, no juice in it. We think this is very attractive, this is very advanced, and we go for that. That means our intelligence is even less than the animals and insects intelligence. They don't have so much intelligence. They don't know technology, and they don't know how to do so many things that we do, fly airplanes, drive cars, so on and so forth. They don't know. But they have, looks like, actually animals intelligence is far lower than human beings have the highest intelligence, but it is misplaced. It is misplaced, right? So for ourselves, we should not depend on this technology. We should not depend on this technology for our survival. Never ever feel that I need this to be Krishna conscious. You don't need it. Then why we are here? For whatever reason, our karma, we are here. But while we are here, make the best use of a bad bargain. Well, that means not for myself. Use this situation to give Krishna consciousness to others. But for yourself, for myself, let us not depend on this technology. This is not lasting. What is real knowledge? Real knowledge is what is there in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We should depend on that. We should hold on to that for our survival at all times, at every moment. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here in this purport. That India's knowledge is what? Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, for some reason, this sublime knowledge of the science of God, right? They have this knowledge, but it is not distributed. Then what will happen if it is not distributed? It will just dry up. That means it's not benefiting anyone, right? Many times people memorize the entire Bhagavad Gita and that's it. They're happy with that. I have memorized it. Arey, bring it into your life. You memorized it, very good. Now apply it in your life. What is Krishna saying? Chaturvanyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Right? What are the qualities? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And ultimately, why all this? Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. To surrender to Krishna, it will bring us to the point of surrender to Krishna. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. All this is not just meant simply for memorizing and, getting some recognition that, oh, you know so many verses, wonderful. But actually to practice even one verse that we learn, you apply it in your life, and then you see the change that is happening. So this sublime knowledge is meant for distribution. It's not simply meant for, like a miser, keep it in your locker, lock it up nicely and keep. No. This sublime knowledge of the science of God was not distributed throughout the whole world. Who did it? Srila Prabhupada did it. At so much of personal risk, inconvenience, suffering, physically, financially, socially, but against all odds. Why he came? To give this knowledge, right? This sublime knowledge of the science of God was not distributed throughout the whole world, although it is meant for all of human society. Therefore, Krishna himself appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ordered all Indians to take up the cause of distributing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita throughout the entire world. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh amar agyaya guru hoya taro ei desh. On my order, Mahaprabhu is saying, you become a guru in that particular country, place, wherever you are, you become guru. How I can become guru? Simply repeat what Krishna said. Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. For you to tell Krishna's upadesh, first you should know what it is, and then if you know it, and if you are actually living by it, and then when you speak it, it will be very, very potent, very, very powerful, right? When you follow it, and then achar, and then prachar, you follow it yourself, and then when you share it with others, it will become very powerful. People can feel it, they will accept it. Instruct everyone. What should we do? Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, you become the spiritual master. Try to liberate everyone in this land. Who is saying? Mahaprabhu is saying. So this was the Bharat Bhumite Manusya Janma Hoila Jar. This was given to those who took birth in India, or now you can extend it. So those who are in the Krishna consciousness movement, this is your responsibility, right? Janma sarthaka kori, that means applying it to yourself in your life. Karo paro upkar. Now you share it with others. Although India has the sublime knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Indians have not done their proper duty of distributing it. Now, therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement has been set up to distribute this knowledge as it is. He has made it so much easier for us. When Srila Prabhupada was distributing this knowledge, he did not have the support of a society. He was by himself alone. He had to start his own society with no people to help him, no helpers. Single handedly, he had to do it. And that too, not in India. This was in a completely foreign land where they didn't know who Krishna was, completely materialistic, sinful life, and there he had to start. But for us, he created a home, ISKCON. We simply have to reach from the Krishna consciousness movement, right? So therefore the Krishna consciousness movement has been set up to distribute this knowledge as it is, without distortion. Although previously there were attempts to distribute the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, these attempts involved distortion and compromise with mundane language, knowledge. This is also very important. Don't make any compromises. Give the message as it is. Don't think that, oh, if I said exactly the way it is, then people may not accept it, they may not like it. Let me say it in a way so that it will be appealing to them. In the, in an attempt to appeal to the audience, don't dilute the philosophy. That's not good. It's like you give a medicine to somebody to cure their disease. The medicine is bitter. Nevertheless, what is your goal? Your goal is to cure that person of that disease. If you say, oh, this person thinks it's too bitter, let me add water inside this and give him, I'll dilute it so that he will take it. It won't have the same effect. The medicine has to be given in the right proportion according to the body weight. Otherwise, it won't have. It's not that you give little. No, it'll have negative effects also, isn't it? So like that, don't be bold. First of all, have faith in the philosophy yourself and have faith in Krishna. These are not my words. Of course, you have to be considerate. Considerate meaning be compassionate to the other person. But compassion doesn't always mean to say what the other person wants to hear. No, compassion means to cure the other person's disease. You want to see that person healthy. Even immediately, if your child has some uh, boil or something, right? Uh, you have to remove the pus. It hurts so much. But what will the doctor do? Even if the child is screaming, they'll just pull out, remove all that pus. The child will be screaming. But afterwards, he will get relief. Otherwise, it is such severe pain. Having those boils on the body is very painful. So even if it is immediately a little painful, still the treatment has to be given. But it is given with compassion, not with arrogance, not with condescends, right? Not that I know better than you, you are nothing, what you're doing is nonsense. With arrogance, if you go, you're not going to touch the other person's heart. If your heart is actually filled with concern for the other person, and out of that concern, you're giving the message as it is, without making any compromise, having full faith in Krishna's words. These are not my words. This is Krishna's words. And you give the message as it is to the other person. And then let the medicine act on that person. Who am I to say anything? Right? Let the medicine act. You've done your job. You're like a postman. You've given that to him. Now let that act on that person. You're like a doctor, right? You've given the medicine. Not even doctor, like someone who hands over the medicine. You've done your part. Now let the medicine act on that person. So the point is, don't dilute the philosophy. Don't say from Bhagavad Gita you can learn how to improve your business. Don't quote verses from Bhagavad Gita to show how you can improve your family relationships by reading Bhagavad Gita. Now all of you read Bhagavad Gita so that you can, your material life will improve by reading Bhagavad Gita. All your diseases will be cured by reading Bhagavad Gita. Don't give these reasons. What is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Sarva dharman parityaja, to bring the person to that point. To bring the person to that point. Only say, that's why read the purports properly, what Srila Prabhupada is saying, and then say only that. Do you ever see anywhere in the purport Srila Prabhupada says Bhagavad Gita is meant to improve your material life? Anywhere. In any purports? No. Always the goal is pure devotional service. We want to come to the standard of Shuddha Bhakti. I may not be Shuddha Bhakta now, but my goal is Shuddha Bhakti. Goal shouldn't be that you will get, sometimes Srila Prabhupada, many times he says, yeah, go back, you're right, you don't have to take birth again in this material world. That's okay. That's okay. But that's not the highest. But initially, they may be attracted to that. Okay, I won't have to come back to this material world. I'll just be liberated from all these miseries. But that is still transcendental, right? That is still. But even then, once they come into Krishna consciousness, they start practicing. That is also not given as a, incentive for practicing bhakti. Bhakti should be practiced because that is our eternal our duty to serve Krishna. This is pure. So give the pure knowledge, of course, as much as the person is able to take. in in our uh, in our enthusiasm, I do that all the time. Maybe I do that to you people also. I'm sorry, but in our enthusiasm, we want to give everything that we have, right? And sometimes we are not considerate, or we don't think, is the other person even able to take all this or not, right? So that takes actually experience and intelligence and advancement to give as much as the person is able to take. But whatever little you're giving, you give the real thing. Don't dilute it. That's the point. Give little, but give the real thing. Don't dilute, don't change the philosophy. That's the point. That's the important point. Give little, no problem, as much as they're able to grasp, right? So, what is Srila Prabhupada saying here? That, oh yeah, 1 second. Yeah, Nilamri Mataji also had raised her hand. 1 second. I'll just finish the purport and I'll come.
No,
Although previous,
Mataji, I
no?
didn't raise it. I didn't raise it.
Oh, okay. Okay, good then.
Accidentally.
Oh, no problem. Okay. Yes, Mataji, Saujanya Mataji. Then I'll go back.
Mataji, though Bhagavad Gita is not said to improve the material life, but to come out of material life, somewhere we have to start, and that is how we'll get attracted to. Right, Mataji?
Mm.
So it's okay. Is it okay? I don't know. I'm not saying what you said is not correct. All I'm saying is, let's say, we eat outside, this, that, right? But how nicely in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says for foods and also for the charity and all that. So you follow that. Maybe we are not yet there for where you are coming out of material life. But for someone even to have that faith and at least start somewhere, Bhagavad Gita does help. Right, Mataji?
Can you be more clear, Mataji? So Bhagavad Gita does help means in what way?
No,
Can you connect Bhagavad Gita with this?
right, Mataji. See, when you mentioned that, nowhere Prabhupada has mentioned the using Bhagavad Gita to improve the material life, like like business or
I'm
whatever.
talking
Fine.
about goal. So you should not
Oh,
tell
goal.
Bhagavad
Okay.
goal.
Okay,
Goal.
okay, okay. Okay, sorry. Maybe I
Yes,
missed that
Krishna
part.
also starts with karma
Ah,
yoga, then
uh,
gradually goes up. No problem about that. But to tell them, Bhagavad Gita teaches you how to improve your material life. There is
yes.
tips for improving your business through Bhagavad Gita. There is
That's
tips
all.
to improve your concentration so that you can get success in your entrance exams through Bhagavad Gita. This type of
Right.
preaching is not correct.
Correct. Okay, got it. Just for
What,
living, we can use, but not for the goal, like as if this is
of
my goal
course,
and I'm living. Okay, I see.
yeah, use it, but with the goal that eventually I want to be there. Now I'm
Uh,
here, I'm in first grade, I want to come to college one day, but I'm in first grade, I'm going step by step. Okay,
yes,
but
yes,
but when you do it through ISKCON society, it is always accompanied by chanting. So it is not like you. That's why this is called, you know, you do your work and you offer it to the Lord. This is all perfect, no problem. And you're not claiming that I'm already a pure devotee. You're not claiming that, right? We are
yes,
claiming now that I want to be a pure devotee, but I still have, all these, obligations, desires, whatever attachments. I want to come out of it. And according to my situation, this much I'm able to do. And I'm also chanting Hare Krishna. My goal is eventually I want to be there. That is perfectly fine.
okay, got it. Thank you. Just sorry.
Sure, no problem. That's good.
I missed that key part, like goal.
Goal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Because sometimes, like that's made the topic of a seminar or something, like how to improve your business through Bhagavad Gita, things like that. So then, of course, sometimes devotees are even smart. Sometimes they use such catchy titles to attract people who are interested in business and all that, because they have that type of mentality. They'll come to attract them initially. And once they come and sit in the class, then it'll be like, you know, and they just take you. So that's why you cannot judge right away from the face. But after you listen to the lecture, you should get a feeling. But sometimes in the lecture itself, if you're preaching, usually, yeah, in the lecture itself, if you're preaching that you want to make lots of money, here you do this, you recite this verse every day, you'll make a lot of money. That type of preaching we shouldn't do. Bhagavad
Yes,
Gita is,
understand. Like, when we go to certain, I mean, I'm not saying temples, how they say, you do this homam, you'll get this. You do
right,
this, like that, you can't use Bhagavad Gita as means of all this material. Yes, yes.
exactly, that's the
Yeah.
point.
First thing they tell, right? Oh, you want this? Okay, do this.
Right,
Like a
yeah.
business. Yeah, yeah. Got it. Thank you.
The Saligram Sela was, they were using Saligram Sela to break the.
Yeah. Prabhuji is saying Shaligram Shila is used to break the nuts like that. Okay, I'll just finish this purport. But now the Krishna consciousness movement without mundane compromises. See, Prabhupada is very, very clear. That's why if we read the purports, we will understand. But now the Krishna consciousness movement without mundane compromises is distributing Bhagavad Gita as it is, and people are deriving the benefits of awakening to Krishna consciousness and becoming devotees of Lord Krishna. Yes, phalena parichiyate, the whatever you are following, the process, the authenticity of the process, you can know by the results you are reaping. You should know by the result. If you are actually practicing the proper, authentic procedure, the result has to come. And if you're seeing there is no result coming, 5 years ago where I was, 10 years ago where I was, I feel like I'm still in the same place, I've not made any improvement, that means there's something wrong with the procedure. And if you can very distinctly clearly see a change in your consciousness, a change in your, spiritual advancement from past 10 years to now, that means you're following the procedure, right? For 5 years, 10 years, whatever. See, there is never, it's never stagnant. You may not be able to see the change day to day, moment to moment. When you plant a seed in the ground, every moment after you pour water and everything, there is a change happening, but you don't see the change constantly. If you put a camera there and you see after 4 or 5 days, then you will see how it has actually been happening, but you don't see it at every moment. We are not able to watch it. Similarly, if you are actually practicing bhakti, Krishna consciousness, then you will see, you may not see it every day, but every day, every moment, the growth is happening. After, that's why I said 5 years or 10 years. After a certain time, that change becomes actually visible to you. Although the change is happening at every moment, you can only see it after a certain time, right? So that change has to be there. It's not stagnant. It's not like you're just there where you are. If it is happening like that, or of course there's no question of going down. We already read in Bhagavad Gita, neha vikramanashasti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyas. Of course that is applied to Shuddha Bhakti, but still chanting Hare Krishna, right, it will still give some results, right? It will give results. So if you are regularly chanting Hare Krishna, you are following four regulative principles and you are following, certainly you will see the result. Certainly, there's no doubt about it. Over a period of time, you will see the change in your consciousness, right? So when you see that, you can understand the process is working, I'm doing it right. And if that is not happening, there's no change in my consciousness, something is wrong. I'm not doing something properly, I have concocted some things, right? I'm not following the message as it is, I have made some mundane compromises, something. Then it has to be rectified. Then you'll get the results. So phalena parichiyate, by the result you can tell if the process I'm following is right or not. Therefore, the proper distribution of knowledge has begun, by which not only will the whole world benefit, but India's glory will be magnified in human society. So that's the thing. Give the real thing, right? Give the real thing, because then people will actually benefit. Telugu, there's a saying, Gangi govu palu, gantedainanu chalu. Kadivedainanemi karamu palu. Bhakti kalugu kudu, pattedainanu chalu, Vishwadabhirama vinuravema. Right? So the milk of a cow, Gangi Govu, means like the best cow, Gir cow or something. The milk of that cow, even one ladle full, is so valuable. And you give a big pot full of donkey's milk. Is there any comparison in terms of nutrition, in terms of spiritual benefit, between drinking a big pot full of donkey milk and 1 cup of pure cow's milk? There's no comparison. There's no comparison. Like that, without any concoction, if you give the actual real knowledge, which is like pure gold, which is like, cow's milk, pure cow's milk, that can do so much, as opposed to concocted material mixture, you do hodgepodge and you give, that's not going to benefit them, right? So give the real thing, even if it is little, it's much more valuable than a lot of. So that's why, as it is, give the message as it is. For you to give the message as it is, first you should learn, hear it as it is from the right sources, and then pass it on. Pass it on. The proper distribution of knowledge has begun, by which not only will the whole world benefit, but India's glory will be magnified in human society. Kamsa tried to arrest Krishna consciousness within his house. So what is it that Kamsa is arresting? Who is Devaki? Remember? Devaki is the incarnation of bhakti. Remember that? Devaki is incarnation of bhakti. Kamsa is incarnation of what? Fear. Right? So Devaki is incarnation of bhakti and Kamsa has arrested Devaki. So who has he arrested? Krishna consciousness. He has arrested bhakti within his palace, within his prison. Kamsa tried to, well, how can anyone arrest? But he tried. He tried to arrest Krishna consciousness within his house. But the result is Kamsa, with all his opulences, was completely vanquished. Who can arrest bhakti? If anyone tries, that person will be finished. Similarly, the real knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was being choked by unscrupulous Indian leaders. Yes, this is what I mean. The leaders, they carry Bhagavad Gita in their hands and they you know they want to show everyone that I'm a great follower of Bhagavad Gita and even preach from Bhagavad Gita, so-called preach from Bhagavad Gita. But what is your motive? What are you preaching? Mera Bharat Mahan, or you know whatever you want to say, and you want to justify your statements, your philosophy through Bhagavad Gita. What has happened by this? People have no clue of what the goal of Bhagavad Gita is. Everyone uses Bhagavad Gita to support whatever he is doing. Everyone will support. He'll have his philosophy which he has made up in his mind, and then he'll find some verse in Bhagavad Gita and he will say this. See, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is supporting mine. Now you push your philosophy on the name of Bhagavad Gita. Concoction. Don't do that. Srila Prabhupada is saying. So the Indian leaders, the wealth of India is Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is actually teaching us Sarva Dharman Parityaja. But instead, the unscrupulous Indian leaders, they have tried to arrest Bhakti. The goal of Bhagavad Gita, what is Bhagavad Gita? Screaming and teaching Bhakti to Krishna. How many Indian leaders have actually turned the people into bhaktas? The politicians who are showing Bhagavad Gita, did any of his followers actually become devotees of Krishna? Did they come to the point of surrendering to Krishna? You think about it. That means have they done any justice by showing Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is used in the courts to just, I'll tell the truth. That's not all. Bhagavad Gita means open Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavad Gita, understand Bhagavad Gita, apply it in your life. What is the goal of Bhagavad Gita? Bhakti. Bhakti is the goal of Bhagavad Gita. And that Bhakti has been suppressed by the leaders, unscrupulous Indian leaders. The result that India's culture and knowledge of the Supreme Lord were being lost. Right? So now the goal at that time, before Srila Prabhupada came to America, if you see in India in general, what was the goal from the leaders? Material prosperity, right? Material prosperity. Everyone started going to the West and, the Western system of education, and everyone is speaking in English. We are also victims of the same system, right? And then they even look down upon their own language and their own food and their own dressing style, because they think this is backward, this is primitive. We want to be modern, we want to be advanced. Who did all this? The leaders who show Bhagavad Gita, but they don't follow what is there in Bhagavad Gita. And the result is today's confused India. But actually, India is meant to be the leader for the whole world, right? The guiding light for the whole world, because India has Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And it is only Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam that is going to make the entire world happy. This is the sun. Srimad Bhagavatam is the sun. that's going to give light to the whole world after Krishna disappeared. And who did this? Srila Prabhupada did it. He took it to the whole world, to every part of the world. And now his faithful followers are doing the same thing. How glorious is this mission? How glorious is this movement? How grateful we should be to Srila Prabhupada at every moment, every day of our lives. Okay, so that was the end of this verse. Now, however, because Krishna consciousness is spreading, the proper use of Bhagavad Gita is being attempted. Okay, so tomorrow we will cover the next verse. Let's read Bhagavad Gita. We completed 240 yesterday. Neha Vikramanashasti. Let's read 241. Please repeat after me. Another jewel of verses. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So this is the same, talking about the previous verse. Neha Vikramanashasti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Little bit of dharma. What is that? Shuddha Bhakti, right? Trayate mahato bhayat. So about them only. Those who are on this path of pure devotional service, are resolute in purpose, right? They don't have so many goals in life. I have to do this also, that also, that also, and bhakti also. No. Ekeha kurunandana. There's only one goal. Those who are on this path, on pure devotional service, they are resolute, they're determined, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute, right? Those who are not determined. You don't have a determination to do one thing. That means, what is that determination? Okay, let us see. What is that determination called? What is that determination called? Determination for what? What is this verse talking about?
Determination of avashya rakhive Krishna.
Determination?
Of avashya rakhive Krishna.
What would you call that? What is the Sanskrit name?
Bhakti Mataji.
No faith.
Faith. What do you call it?
Shraddha. Shraddha.
Very good. All of you, very good. So Shraddha. So this determination is Shraddha. That means those who have this determination, then their aim is one. They don't see so many things. Remember Arjun, when, of course, that was not bhakti there, not necessarily, but he was focused on only one, right? Of course, Arjun is a pure devotee, right? He is eternally a pure devotee. But when Dronacharya asked him, what all do you see? He had a goal. He was only seeing the eye of the bird that he was supposed to shoot. He was not seeing anything else. He was not even seeing the head of the bird. What to speak of the rest of the bird, the tree, the leaves, his brothers, nothing, the sky. He was only seeing the eye. That means, yeah, full faith. He was only seeing. So someone who has this Shraddha, who has this Drida Shraddha, what is that Shraddha? I have to simply please Krishna. I have to simply do devotional service because he is the Lord and I am the servant. I don't have any other obligation. I don't have to do anything else. I simply have to do devotional service. Someone who gets this type of Shraddha or faith, he has only one aim. He doesn't have so many aims. So if I am seeing I have so many aims now, I have to do this also, I have to do that. What does that mean? That means I still don't have Shraddha. Drida Shraddha I didn't get. Because when I get Drida Shraddha, I will have only one goal. I will not have 3-4 goals. I will not have 100 goals. But if somebody has so many, someone who does not have that type of Shraddha, then he will have many goals. This also, that also, that also, that also. Clear? This is a very important verse which actually, it was a turning point in Srila Prabhupada's life when he actually decided, yes, this is all I have to do. I have to come to, uh, of course, it can be applied in various stages. It doesn't mean that now Srila Prabhupada got Shraddha and now he's entering into pure devotional service. Don't take it like that. But those who are on this path, on the path of pure devotional service, their aim is only one. They are not confused that, should I do this? No, their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute, that means they don't have that determination, then it's many branched. They'll see so many things that they have to do. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Okay, yeah, I ask you people to read, right? I forgot. But you can read the purport. After Aditi Lata Mataji, Inba India are not here. Okay, Rasapriya. I don't see Isha. Isha is here? No. Okay, Rasapriya. A strong faith.
A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika
Vyavasayatmika
intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22.62 says,
श्रद्धा शब्दे विश्वास को है सुदृढ़ निश्चय कृष्णे भक्ति कोइले सर्व कर्म कृत होए. See, श्रद्धा शब्दे. Okay, continue.
Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relation to the material world, but obligations to family traditions, humanity, or
Nationality.
Fruit of activities are the engagements of one's acts from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are in the absolute blame, for they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness.
Yes, thank you. So, what is faith? Unflinching trust in something sublime. So it is sublime, right? It is sublime. It's not so, it is sublime. I don't know how to translate it. But having full faith, like Lord Brahma, right? When he heard tapa, tapa, at the beginning of creation, there was nobody around him. He was trying to find out what is the origin and who am I, what am I supposed to do. He couldn't see his father, mother, nobody was there around. And then he just heard that sound, tapa, 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 and he took that message and he sat down in meditation. Faith in something sublime. He's not seeing anyone, but he just grasped that, oh, I'm supposed to do this, I'm getting this message. He sat down in meditation, and by that, actually, things were revealed to him. So that faith is essential. First, you have to have faith, and when you have faith, that's when you will begin bhakti. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. What is that faith? That I have to do only bhakti. Krishna only is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I don't need to do anything else. See, Srila Prabhupada is very clearly saying, when one is engaged in duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world. You need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family traditions, humanity, or nationality. Not required, provided you have that faith. And if you have faith, will you now, make plans for your security after retirement? What will happen to me? You won't make all that. So you have to see the complete picture, whether you have simply rejecting all traditions, all family ties, saying that now I have faith, but then at the same time maintaining material attachment, sense gratification, that is cheating. That's why it is said you must follow Varnashram Dharma. At least be honest and accept that I don't have Shraddha, So I have to follow the dharma which is given in Shastra for someone who has not yet achieved that faith. But the goal of following that dharma is not simply going to heaven or sense gratification. I will still follow all these dharmas while cultivating Krishna consciousness. What does Srila Prabhupada say at the end of the purport? If you follow this progressive Krishna consciousness, this state will automatically be achieved. So progressive Krishna consciousness is what? The path which has been given to us, right? That this Varnashram Dharma is progressive Krishna consciousness. You chant 16 rounds, you follow 4 regulative principles, and you do those activities which are simplified. You follow the Dharma, you follow the duties which are given for each person according to Shastra. This is progressive Krishna consciousness. If you follow this type of lifestyle, this state of full faith, Shraddha, will automatically be achieved. And once you get that faith, then you don't have any obligations whatsoever to follow any dharma or whatever. But without getting that faith, if you simply give up your obligations to all this, you give up all these dharmas, then you'll become dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. Right? You are neither here nor there. Materially also, you're not doing your duties properly. In the name of bhakti, you have given up all your duties in this world, all dharmas. Neither you got shraddha to do 24 hours bhakti. So you are nowhere. That is why do both. If you didn't get Shraddha yet, do both. But simplify this activity, material activity, but still follow according to. That's why we need expert spiritual masters who can guide us properly, right? That you do this responsibility, be faithful to your, duties towards family and towards your occupation, and also do simplified occupations. At the same time, cultivate Krishna consciousness, increase hearing Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Increase the time that you're spending in hearing, chanting, worshipping, and gradually simplify your life so that one day we'll get this faith and we will do only bhakti, and then we are not required to do anything else. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane. And then when you have full faith, still if you engage in activities in this world, that activity is not going to bind you in any way. It's not going to bind you. That activity will not bind you because you don't have any faith in those activities. So many examples. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a judge. He was not, depending on that position. So I think I'll stop Bhagavad Gita reading here because I don't want to rush through this verse. It's time already. We'll read Leelamrita. We'll continue reading this verse tomorrow.
Just one point, Mataji.
Yeah.
Arjuna also asked this question. Nagar ka Naghat ka, this question in Bhagavad
Yes.
Gita.
And Krishna said, one who does good, my friend, will never meet with evil. Correct.
Yes.
Yes. So that means you don't even take out of fear. So Arjun's point was, oh, because I may not succeed in yoga, so I won't take to bhakti path. And that is why we have, so for us, that's why what did Krishna tell Arjun to do? Yat karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusham adarpanam. Actually, Arjun was suggesting just the opposite. Arjun was saying, I will give up my dharma of kshatriya. What is he trying to do there? And then I will do full devotional service, right? But did you get Shraddha for full devotional service? Here Arjun is playing the role of a conditioned soul, remember. It's not Arjun, the eternal associate of Krishna. Arjun is playing. The fact that Arjun even got this illusion, it's happening by Krishna's, intervention. Krishna is making it happen to teach us a lesson. So therefore, Arjun is not now playing the role of a eternal associate of Krishna, Nitya Siddha devotee. He's playing the role of a person, conditioned soul who's illusioned by Maya. So for such a person to say that I will give up my job and I will now do 24 hours bhakti, is that the proper way to do? Krishna is saying, no, you do your job, and while doing your job, you think of me. At every step, that's what Krishna is saying. He never said you give up your dharma. Did he ever say? No. Why? But actually, this verse is saying that, you don't have to do all other works. Yeah, when? When you get full faith, when you come to the point of sarva dharman parityajya, after sarva dharman parityajya, does Krishna say now you go back and you do this duty, that duty? No, that's final. Sarva dharman parityajya means now you got full shraddha. Now you enter. You don't need to do any other dharmas. No need. Bhagavad Gita ends at that point. Sarva dharman parityajya. After that, no more instruction by Krishna. See, there are other verses. Sanjaya is saying, Arjun is saying, but Krishna doesn't speak after that. No more instructions after that. Last verse, Krishna speaks. Sarva dharman parityajya. That's the last. Mamekam sharanam vraja. Sarva dharman paritya, give up all other religions. Krishna said, why he'll go back and say, now you go back and do your this duty, that duty. Then what did Arjun do? After listening to Sarva dharman parityaja, did he go back home? He's fought. So he got the message, no? So even if you're a pure devotee, still you will fight. Why? To set example for others. And if you're not a pure devotee, certainly you have to fight. You have to do your duty, but don't simply do the duty. Do your duty while cultivating Krishna consciousness, because your goal is Krishna consciousness. Without Krishna consciousness, if you're simply doing your duties, you'll go to Swarga, you'll enjoy, you'll come back. Until and unless you do bhakti, there's no question of liberation. Bhakti is essential. Okay. Leelamrita. Okay, so yesterday, so they're trying to incorporate ISKCON. So this Mr. Goldsmith is the person who is the lawyer. So Srila Prabhupada was giving class on 26 Second Avenue, and Srila Prabhupada in his talk quotes Mr. Goldsmith. Okay, next person. After Rasapriya, Usha Mataji and Medha, are you able to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, Mataji, I'm driving.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Medha is still on the call, Mataji.
Yes, I don't think so. Okay. So then, Neelambari Radha Mataji, can you read? Or should I just read? I think I'll just read it because everyone is, running out of time. I'll just read it. All right, Mr. You can read? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. From where?
All right, Mr. Goldsmith.
All right, Mr. Goldsmith, you can ask anything. Mr. Goldsmith stands, and to the surprise of the people gathered, he makes a short announcement asking for asking for signers on an incorporation document for the Swami's new religious movement. Prabhupada, they are present here. You can take the addresses now. Mr. Goldsmith, I can take them now. Yes. Prabhupada, yes, you can. Bill, you can give your address, and and Ralph and Raphael,
Yeah.
you can give yours, and Don, Roy, and Mr. Green. As the meeting breaks up, those called on to sign as trustees come forward, standing around in the little storefront, waiting to leave.
Cursorily.
Cursorily through the pages the lawyer has produced from his thin attache, and to sign as he directs. Yet not a soul among them is committed to Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Mataji, thank you. Yeah. So none of them were committed to Krishna consciousness, but they're all trustees for this ISKCON. And he needed the addresses, and he's calling on Mr. Goldsmith needed addresses. So Srila Prabhupada is calling on the assembled, members there, and they're not even committed. We saw earlier that they would come, spend the night there, and attend the class in the morning, and during the day they would go away. We don't even know where they would go, what they would do all day long, and they would just come back, and they would just sleep in the night in the storefront like that. but that's how it started. And yeah. Okay, next after Mataji is Suvarnangi Mataji or anyone there to read?
Mataji, I can read.
You can read? Yes, Mataji. So yeah.
Mr. Goldsmith meets his quota of symbols, a handful of sympathizers, with enough reverence towards the Swami, to want to help him. The first trustees, who will hold office for a year until the first annual meeting of the corporation, are Michael Grant, who puts down his name and address without ever reading the document, Mike's girlfriend Jan, and James Green. No one seriously intends to undertake any formal duties as trustee of the religious society, but they are happy to help the Swami by singing his fledgling society into legal existence.
According to
law, a second group of trustees will assume office for the second year. They are Paul Gardiner, Roy, and Don. The trustees for the third year are Carl Jurgens, Bill Epstein, and Raphael. None of them know exactly what the half a dozen legal size type pages mean, except that Swamiji is forming a society.
Why? Let's see. So this is a very important. The society is starting. It's being incorporated, and they have. The thing is, they had so much faith in Srila Prabhupada. They wanted to help him. That's it. They didn't understand the philosophy. They didn't, but they had this, that this is a genuine person, and if he's doing something, it must be good. If he's saying, we will do it. They had faith in a pure devotee of Krishna. So they didn't understand anything, and Srila Prabhupada made a system that the first year you will be the trustees, second year someone else will be the trustees, something like our GBCs, right? Every couple of years they change. So I mean the head of the the chairperson changes like that. So the trustees, first year you will be, second year, third year, like that. So Srila Prabhupada, and they all signed, and they didn't understand. None of them know exactly what the half a dozen legal size typed pages mean, except that Swamiji is forming a society. Why? For tax exemption, in case someone gives a big donation, and for other benefits an official religious society might receive. Okay, we will continue reading this tomorrow. So if
very interesting, Mataji.
yeah, for you especially. Mataji is in that field.
Yes, Mataji, I was thinking it's good. I mean, but Prabhupada had a vision. That's different story.
Yeah, but yeah. So tomorrow, if Narsimhalila, Chaitanya Prabhu, Surit Spurti are there, they will begin. And Priyanka Mataji is still not here. If not, I think I missed Sonia Mataji. I'm sorry. So let Sonia Mataji read tomorrow. If Mataji, if you're there, you will start tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, Mataji. No problem.
So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, all of you. Have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.